Stay out of my way.
Hello and welcome to Matt's B-Movie Reviews, a show that looks at cult films that may have escaped your radar. Let's get on with this review because it's going to drill your brains out, boy! It's 2016's Phantasm Ravager. Here's the plot, or as much as I could fathom anyway. Reggie, the hero slash ice cream man from the previous 4 movies, goes from dimension to dimension trying to find his best friend Mike. Unfortunately, the tall man will not let him find him easily, and he starts to mess with Reggie's mind, so he starts to trip his balls off. No pun intended. So basically, can Reggie find his friend in time and stop the tall man's diabolical plan to destroy our universe and all the other dimensions attached? Sounded quite good, that. That's about as much plot as I'm going to give you, because if you've ever seen a Phantasm movie before, you know they don't follow any sort of linear programme whatsoever. They're just all over the shop. So firstly, I just want to say I'm glad they decided to finally get this movie made, because not only were the fans craving one, I think it's been 17 years since Phantasm Oblivion, but it is the last time, sadly, that we got to see Angus Scrimm on the big screen, as he died in January 2016 at the age of 89. Respect, Angus, because you created one of the most seminal horror icons in modern cinema. Angus Scrimm always gives an amazing performance in every production he's attached to. I mean, in the Phantasm movies, he doesn't always have the most lines, but just a turn of phrase, a raised eyebrow, or a look. That's all it takes to just instill this menace. And he rightly deserves his iconic status as a Hollywood boogeyman alongside Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney and Freddy Krueger. That aside, I've got to say this movie was very difficult to watch. Why? Because it is way, way out there. Ravager should have been the finale to an amazing series, the 5th instalment, having started in 1979. It was going to come full circle to 2016 with this big epic storyline. Unfortunately, lack of budget and presumably lack of interest have just led to this movie sort of congealing its way onto VOD. It's sort of a mishmash of in-references. That's why I say it is made for the fans. If you followed the previous 4 movies, this movie has been made specifically for you. Unfortunately, it's just not very good. And I say that with a heavy heart. Like I say, it is Angus Scrimm's final performance, which is a shame that they didn't give him a really good send-off. Apparently the movie was filmed on and off again between a period of 3 to 5 years, and it is obvious from the start because nothing seems to gel together. They've sort of incorporated this dimension hopping, which we've seen in previous Phantasm movies, but that was just a device to connect these separate islands of story. It's like they weren't quite sure what sort of story they wanted the final instalment to be, so they've used like 5 or 6 different storylines which are all threaded together, and none of them really work like that. They should have just stuck with 1 or 2. For instance, one of the storylines follows Reggie in a post-apocalyptic world where the tall man is all supreme. There's giant silver sphere balls, whatever the hell they are, floating around in the sky. The sky is red, and we're pretty much screwed. That could have been really epic in my opinion, but unfortunately the budget lets it down because it just looks like a cheap PS1 game. Yeah. Apparently the budget was around 300,000, and I've heard rumours that it was less than that, so I don't know why they couldn't get a decent Kickstarter, because they've had 4 previous massive hit movies. Even if they were cult status, they were still big, big films. And a fan base that goes over 4 decades has got to be worth its salt. Come on, I'd have kicked in a few pounds. As well as that, Ravager seems to reek of amateurism, which is a shame because Don Coscarelli's series has been anything but amateur. It's been inventive, stylish, iconic, funny, scary, you name it, it's just been completely out there. This movie is just lost in translation, unfortunately.
I can't tell what's real anymore.
Strangely though, director Don Coscarelli, who made the previous 4 Phantasm movies, doesn't actually direct the 5th instalment. I feel like he's probably stepped back from the project because it wasn't quite what he expected. This alone should set off alarm bells for hardcore fans of this series. I mean, this is as bad as Sam Raimi letting go of the reins of the Evil Dead for other directors on the TV series. For shame, I don't know why they don't hold onto the property more often. So unfortunately, no Coscarelli, no go. Also, without giving away major spoilers, because even though I'm sort of panning this movie, you're still going to want to check it out if you're a Phantasm fan. If you're hoping for a resolution to a lot of the plot points that have been going on since the 3rd instalment. In fact, the 4th one ended on a massive cliffhanger. You're going to be sadly disappointed. The film doesn't really wrap anything up. It raises a lot of questions. One thing that is ridiculously overused in this film are the spheres that kill people. I think we get them at the start of the film, within a few minutes. Anytime a character goes anywhere, the tall man's balls, as I'll refer to them from now on, are just following characters round. Obviously that's meant to be like, oh, they could be anywhere, and obviously they've got that drill thing and they're going to knife you in the head or whatever, but the CGI on them didn't look great, and I don't know why they didn't just try and use more prop ones like they did in the original films, where someone just threw them down a corridor towards the camera, but whatever. Using it in this way totally destroys their menace. Good points. Cameos in references to the original films. There's a few actors and actresses, that sort of thing, who pop up that you'll go, oh, yeah. But they're sort of blink and you'll miss them, sort of thing. It's nice to know that they're there, but overall, when the movie's all over the place, it's hard to really sort of take a lot of joy from this film. God, this is a depressing review for 2017. It should be all like da 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 da, but it's more like.
Oh, it really is an amazing story.
Epic, actually.
So overall, Ravager is for the completist fans only. I'd probably recommend, if you haven't seen this movie, to avoid it. Maybe watch 1 to 4 instead. In fact, maybe even watch 1 and 2, because they're at its purest level, the Phantasm movies, as they should be. Even though Ravager is not the best, the Tall Man's legacy is still intact. That's about all I've got time for this week. Check out the trailer for Ravager in the description box below. So as usual, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. Bye. Rest in peace, Angus. Rest in peace.